And you know what they say, it's always tomorrow somewhere. I'm here with my beautiful and wonderful wife, Rachel.
Hi.
And we're live streaming for a little while. Not necessarily a super long live stream. Sheriff. Sheriff country, huh? Hello, Big Frog. How am I? Well, I'm fine-ish, I guess. Got, more stressful news on the car front, but you just have to make a decision here about alternatives. So, I'm watching the football game, and I thought it'd be nice to watch the football game while streaming. I think it's more along the lines of it's always 5 p.m. somewhere. Of course, it's not actually always tomorrow somewhere. It's tomorrow somewhere for me because I think like Australia or something is tomorrow. Although I'm not exactly sure. Right, this is what I was doing. Add tab to split view. There we go. Now it's up in the meow over here in the split tab. So the Broncos and the Patriots are tied uh, late here in the first half. Hi, Lord Slim Kai. How's it going? And it's been a pretty good football game so far. I missed the beginning of it. I thought it started at 12:30. I guess it started at 12. Maybe it started even at 11:30. I'm not sure. I had a good time last night with the mushrooms. Sleep, blast, play. Yeah, that's what we got to all do. We got to sleep, then blast, then play. Doctor, why are there clowns around here? Uh, I'm not sure what clowns you're talking about. I haven't noticed any clowns, but maybe I haven't been keeping my eye out for clowns. Are you in a circus? Kid's birthday party? Tiny car? I think he means crowns. I don't know why there's so many crowns. I they just something YouTube started doing it. It's not like a setting I turned on. Yeah, I did piece that together at some point. Ralph, I'm actually not a senorita, but it's fine. I'm neither a senorita nor a mademoiselle. How many Erics can fit in a Crown Vic, considering he's 5'6"? I'm 6'5", not 5'6". Can I order people around? I don't think it's that kind of crown. I don't think it makes you the king. Do I have cats? Yeah, we have two cats. One of them's right here. You are a playboy. I'm not a playboy, for sure. Hunter Henry looks a lot like Tom Brady. You want to see the cat? All right. You want to be the king, huh? Well, that's an understandable thing to want, I suppose. Well, you can't really see him very well, but there he is. Oh, dropped. You should start rocking the Hugh Hefner shower robes, huh? I don't really want to rock this. I mean, they're comfortable, I suppose, but it's not really my style. I do have the Eric Strauss sweatpants equivalent. I have this one pair of sweats that I wear all the time because they're the only sweats that I have that get they don't fall down when you put things in their pockets. Scott Adams, the maker of Dilbert, did he die recently? Seems to me he died maybe. Yes, you're a good boy. Yes, you are a good boy. He wants to sit on my feet to take possession of me. He's a very possessive kitty. So, I don't know. You tell me, did Scott Adams die recently? He's giving me the stern look. Um, no, I have not kept any sort of log like that, and and even if I did, it wouldn't be informative about population demographics in general because the population of people who end up wanting to get themselves typed skews heavily in favor of some types and not and against other types. So it might be informative about which types are most likely to get typed by me with my approach. But even that's not going to be especially reliable data because um, a fairly small percentage of people who, in theory, might get typed by me ever come into contact with the possibility of doing so, you know. Denver throwing it out of bounds. Yeah, well, I mean, to engage typologically in the way that I do, that's true. But it's also the case that there are plenty of people who might get into a very, you know, type description heavy understanding of MBTI. There are plenty of like ESFPs out there who are into typology and think they're a type other than they are, probably. Uh, but the published typing sessions are logged. ENFP and ESTJ are the least common published sessions. These lives can be a form of psychological warfare. Well, I mean, there's no psychological warfare going on here. Sometimes people will come in and try to engage in that stuff, but certainly I'm not trying to engage in that. What are we doing, kitty? Are we playing sit on daddy's lap? Come on. Come on. Come on up then if you want to. No, I believe the enemy uses this to frustrate people when we can't quite get our points across due to the love being lost in translation. Who's the enemy? I'm assuming STJs probably don't want to be told what they are. They're very unlikely to get typed by me anyway. I I can think of a couple ESTJs I've typed in life. You know, I can think of a couple ISTJs, but they're unlikely to get typed. Well, that is true that I have the power to block people, and that can hurt people if they feel like they've been blocked unfairly. But the thing is, whether or not someone's been blocked unfairly can't be predicated on whether or not they're trying to be sincere. You know, it has to be predicated on something like they've ignored my warnings or something like that about a given topic or what have you. Yeah, Diarrheal's right. If I block you, then it's pretty well justified almost always. He's he's kind of a bad kitty actually, but um, he climbed up on my lap. I didn't want him to come up or invite him to come up. I mean, I did say once he looked like he wanted to come on up, but if you're translating things without the love in them and you're possibly unfairly blocking. No, what I'm saying is I cannot evaluate, obviously, the subjective feelings of another person. So I have to make decisions on some actual fair criterion. Remember, many of the worst atrocities in history have been committed because somebody thinks they know what's best for somebody else, you know? So having a certain subjective feeling in your heart is not a good reason to think that you're going to be up to any good at all, right? Lots of people have subjective good feelings in their heart and do appalling things to one another. So obviously, we can't evaluate things on that metric, especially since it's not possible for one person to know the heart of another person anyway. No, I'm correct, Steve. It's not so I think. Be clear about that, you know. I'm correct about it. You're welcome for that explanation. Okay, trouble. Uh, but how about what is dicks in my ass? Well, that's what happens when You are when you are bent over starring in a pornography movie. Eric is the singularity. Don't get it twisted. Say what again? The real Okanami. I've met the Mayaz family before many times. If you think you're engaged in something original here, you are wrong. Well, it's halftime. It scores 7-7. And does Trouble do this often? Yeah, he does. Logic told me intuition has been messing with me. Hmm, that does happen. So both teams missed a field goal here in the first half. Also, the Broncos passed up on a field goal. Does the cat scratch or bite? Yeah, he scratches. I mean, not very much, but every once in a while he'll still swipe. He swiped at Rachel last night. He was a wild tomcat, and now he's our cat, and he's no longer a tomcat. This is the SI polar cat, yeah. You know, he's become much more lovable over time. Like he used to be very scary to even pet him or anything 'cause you never knew when he was gonna suddenly scratch you. Oh yeah, it hurts a lot more than a dog scratch. This cat has incredibly sharp claws and they're like razors. They'll cut a slit right into your skin. But I haven't been scratched by him for quite a while now. Yeah, well, SI polar and a cat, is still gonna see a lot of, in some sense, SI compared to some other creatures because cats do like to sleep and eat a lot and such. Now I'm stuck here until I dislodge the cat or he decides to get up. Well, that's an interesting observation, Casey Jones, I guess. Yes, you're a silly boy with very silly ways. See you later, the real economy. Have a nice day. Fist bumps to you as well. I love how geek cats are. I took care of a stray once. We had to leave the country, so it was sheltered. That's sad. It's a sad, sad story. You feel like the king of the castle right now, don't you, Trouble? I do think that the conversation last night about the snitching thing was a very interesting topic. It's a, it's a very, um, I guess it's a topic I've not really talked about before, which is one of the things that made it so interesting. Is um, both the things that Rachel brought up that she had heard on this podcast she was listening to provided for interesting topics because the snitching thing is a strange kind of ethical gray area because obviously obviously, we can think of plenty of examples where somebody should snitch because something terrible has been seen. Or we can also think of examples where people shouldn't shouldn't snitch because they're just being a tattletale, you know. And there's no clear, obvious, universalizable ethical rule, really. It's interesting. Current situation: soaking in a hot bath while the snow is piling up outside. Well,
Yeah, I
that
want to
sounds.
ask my. I want to call my mom to see how the weather is. It's supposed to be bad in South Carolina too.
Casey Jones says everybody wants you to snitch, but then judges you for it and never trusts you afterwards.
It's just it's really they always say that when dealing with a situation like that, a confrontation in work, that you should talk to the person first before going to the higher ups. Like, I don't know, that seems to be the consensus that that's the best way of
Yeah,
handling.
but there certainly are instances where a person should probably. What is that trouble? He's got some sort of little string on his paw. I should cut it off, really, but I don't have any scissors easily at hand. Well, let's put it this way: did you ever cheat in school, college, Eric? Yeah, sure. Especially in um, high school, saying mind your own business is best utilized. Let others share their own character over time. Right. Um, I tend to agree that when it comes to stuff that is not like reporting a crime or something, then it's good to err on the side of not snitching. But I can see how there's, it's not like it's not like one of those clear cut questions like is stealing wrong or something. Beeswax, mind your own beeswax. Well, trouble. I think it's almost time to dislodge you. The Bible opposes snitching. Interesting. I guess there are situations that constitute bypassing the one-on-one conversation with the person and going straight to a higher up. Yeah, yeah, there are. Well, you're a good kitty, and I think that you're fine.
It's tough too. Like, I feel like in the, at least in restaurants, it's very, like, a lot of people rely on other people to get the job done. So it's kind of like,
If you're dragging the team down, people are going to be annoyed by you.
yeah, yeah, you gotta kind of work as a team. You gotta put the team, you gotta think more about the team than you do about yourself, kind of.
Right.
Hey, Keisha.
I mean, I don't think I shut down your biblical talk at all. I just said, oh, that's interesting. You know, that the Bible opposes snitching. That's fine. I didn't shun it, as you say. I didn't shut it down or anything. Just because I'm not particularly, I don't have anything to add to your comments doesn't mean I'm shutting it down or shunning it. The Blue Baron, hello. But it is the case that you and I have different perspectives on the Bible. The reason I involve academic misconduct is because if not snitching doesn't directly harm anyone, I'm keeping my mouth shut. Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to throw attitude at it, and I'm not lying about this. I mean, you can have whatever perspective you have on the Bible, but you and I don't share those perspectives. No. Okay, Steve. Well, you can think that all you want. Well, you see, women lost to Michigan earlier. We were down by 13. We came roaring back and took a 5 or 6 point lead, and then we ended up losing. The men, I'm not watching the men's game at the moment. I could put it on. Oh, that's okay, Acacia. I think it's fair to say that Steve's in a bit of a petulant mood right now. Oh, that was for an accident, huh? I agree that he didn't have a good reason to time him out, really.
Seems in college basketball lately. Says Boyd getting downhill.
Let's see. USC is winning 38-36 with a minute and a half left in the first half. It's going to go to halftime pretty soon. We don't have the same perspectives because you're looking at the Bible in the flesh and not in the spirit. Okay, well, Steve, the actual reason we don't have the same perspective on it is because you're wrong. Okay, well, Steve, I don't need you to be some kind of spiritual guide for me. I don't believe your understanding of Christianity is preferable at all to mine. I am quite the opposite. So, since it's either of our magical thinking friends, regardless, let's just leave it at that. Yes, they did. I could not agree with you more, Putty Cat. Okay, get up, Trouble. I could not agree with you uh, anymore. Your defense is go right up. It hurts to see this. I don't enjoy your evangelizing at me and the way that you go about doing this. Whereas if I negate what you're saying at all, you talk about my emotions or my feelings or some other thing like that and attribute what my disagreement to something other than what it actually is attributable to. Namely, I don't agree with you, you're wrong. So yeah, it's true that when you say something that's wrong and I correct you, that to some extent I'm defending the truth, right? But you cannot conclude that because I am siding with righteousness, truth, and justice and arguing against you, that I'm somehow getting defensive or somehow in other ways that aren't relevant to anything, displaying that you're correct. Who is Ryle and why is he up? My perineum. Okay, Steve. Well, thank you for that. That's true. You're not wrong because I don't agree with you. You're wrong for reasons independent of me. But I guess you could say the reason I don't agree with you is because I'm right and you're wrong. And just because you're not wrong doesn't mean he has to agree with you. The thing is, the key thing to note here is what's wrong in what you're saying is that your understanding of your magical thinking frame applies to me. Whereas I'm not necessarily saying that you should ascribe to the same magical thinking frame as I'm ascribing to. You have any gun? I do have a gun, yes. It's a 22 rifle. The sunglasses tan is the epitome of cool. All right, well, you believe what you want, Steve. I'm not trying to tell you to believe otherwise, but I am telling you that if you're telling me about these sort of things, and presuming that you understand better for me what my magical thinking frame should be and how it should operate, you are wrong. I read epitome as epitome. Explore your area. You seem like the type, KC, to say epitome. Yeah. Yeah, Keisha, I don't know what to make of Steve's FE blunders. If, charitably calling them FE blunders. I think sometimes it's a certain amount of passive aggressiveness, but you're welcome, Steve. You are so welcome. Steve is like a barnacle. He's like a barnacle. When it comes to biblical truth, I steer it my way, huh? Okay. You go ahead and think that. I said epitome once and never forgot my mistake. Now it's an outside joke. I think he interacts. I don't think he interacts with anyone else, and is just on you about his one subject constantly. Well, obviously, Steve, if you have any sense at all, you'll recognize that it is, in fact, condescending at best. If you don't seem to get that, then I would suggest we're getting into the passive aggressive territory. In the real world, it would represent you get socked in the face, right? If you gently crab clawed somebody, you get socked in the face. At least if you gently crab clawed me, you would. Oh, big gain. Big gain by the New England quarterback. Drake May, is that his name? Well, you know, Steve, we all have our challenges with self concept. You know, I also don't always feel great about myself or what have you. But well, I'm not, again, you know, Steve, I'm not telling you what you feel or something. I'm telling you what it is, like how it plays. Okay, what you believe is irrelevant, right? A lot of guys in favor of just banning you again. And what Acacia points out is pretty obvious to anybody, right? It's not being taken as such, and that it's not up to you to dictate to the other person, you know, what you're doing or how it plays or what have you. Winston Smalls also in favor of banning you. Yeah, Steve wants to hold me down and give me his love whether I want it or not. Steve, we've gone through this, and as I've indicated before, what gets somebody banned is when they continue to ignore what I'm saying and persist in a behavior that I've already indicated is not okay. All right? Okay, well, obviously, the chat at large is not fond of this game that you're playing, and I'm not fond of it, so, you know, maybe you should knock it off. You know, I am obviously somewhat more prone to giving 40th chances than other people. And that's, I mean, you are imposing on others in terms of their areas of comfort, right? I've expressed to you many times that I don't want you to evangelize at me. And I don't want you to presume to know what's best for me and to, you know, continually try to convey to me that if I had a better relationship with God, then I would somehow change my ways or something. Just fucking shut the fuck up already. It's pretty straightforward, right? If you want to talk about other things, then talk about other things. I'm being a dictator of sorts, huh? Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I don't think you quite get the idea of policing a community space. There are plenty of people that I might banned for all kinds of reasons that that would prove to be on balance a beneficial thing to do. And it's also the case that if anybody's accusing me of being dictatorial in live streams with banning people and stuff, well, they're not looking at reality at all, obviously, because you got to compare against actual alternatives, how other channels play out and such. You can't just compare against your version of how things ought to be. Yeah, you did evangelize. You started talking about biblical truth and my defensiveness, etc., and that definitely qualifies as such. So, Eric, I've come up with a deliciously nerdy in kitty painting kitty. Have you? In kitty painting kitty. I don't know what that is. A dog followed me on a bike today. Wow. I don't. That must have been quite a sight, dog riding a bike. Oh, inkity patinkity, but patinkin kitty. So inkity. How many syllables is it? 3 and how many? Am I getting back to work? Well, the first thing I need to do is resolve my nightmarishly extended car problem that I'm having. 3-5. Okay, and what's the clue? Uh, it's been an absolute nightmare. Continues to be a nightmare with the car. But I still don't have a actual car solution. I need to get that resolved before I even consider doing anything else. Putty Cat says, I think everyone has different relationships with God at different times in their life. A genuine alternate history story. A genuine alternate history story. 3-5. Authentic 5-syllable word for alternate history story. Yeah, I talked to him about it today, and um, I have essentially two choices. I could buy the neighbor's car if that offer's still on the table. Um, for like $1,500. That might be a good enough solution for a while. Or I could just bite the bullet and spend $4,000 or $5,000 in Los Angeles, get a car that's got a little bit more longevity and hopefully be more of a permanent solution. So what happened was essentially Delilah's car is not going to work for us. It's got certain kinds of problems that I don't want to deal with. For example, there was a leak in the car. It got a lot of water inside of it, and it's got mold inside of it. So I'm going to have to resolve this in a different way. Probably we'll just bite the bullet, spend the money, get a more decent car, and hope that lasts a while, you know. But I'm not entirely sure about it yet. I want to sit on the decision for a while. I found this stuff out this morning, so uh, maybe also call Delilah, talk to her about it. Delilah's my daughter. I should use Bannon, you're right.
You too, rusty-eyed ninja.
Hi, Rusty Eyed Ninja. Just passing through being nice. Hope you had an amazing day. Thanks. It's 2 p.m., so still kind of the middle of the day. Have you ever done the DMT talking with famous elves thing? I have done DMT, but no, I never talked to any elves. I do like DMT, but all this Steve knows about if I prayed or not about your car. How would he know? Well, because obviously, if I had prayed about it, I wouldn't be stressed out or conflicted about it. I guess. I guess that's his reasoning. I don't know. You can't go wrong with an old Lexus. Um, the uh, the mushrooms I had were the same that I've taken the last couple times. Um, I took a good amount, the right amount, I'd say. I wasn't too tripped out, like completely lost and detached from the chat as I often am. I was a little bit more with it, but also I was tripping hard enough that I didn't feel like I underate mushrooms either. And I love mushrooms. I they always it's always a good idea to do mushrooms. They make me feel refreshed. Both in body, mind, spirit, whatever, all that stuff. It I was saying also this last night, but it's really remarkable because there's not any other drug like that I can think of that's a drug one does for recreational purposes that that also that's also so without any kind of negative impacts. I've heard that you can give up alcohol with mushrooms. Well, I don't drink alcohol. I quit alcohol 12 years ago. But I didn't quit by taking mushrooms. Back then, I wasn't really able to find mushrooms, I don't think. I don't know. It seems like such a weird kind of gift of the earth thing. Like how is it that these mushrooms just grow out of the ground or grow out of whatever and they have this strange like symbiotic relationship with the self, at least myself. Have I tried ketamine? Yeah. I I like it okay, I guess. Rachel really likes ketamine,
Yeah.
but it's not
I
my
don't. I
not my
don't.
favorite.
I don't recommend it for everyone. I just think that uh, it's good for me because I have anxiety and stuff. Um,
They all communicate with each other underground networks. The mushrooms do. Hello, can you tell us about your war with Italian mafia from NYC? Uh, yeah, I didn't have any war with the Italian mafia from NYC. Sammy Gravano and John Gotti. I know that I'm familiar certainly with John Gotti and to this name Sammy Gravano sounds familiar, but I've never had any engaging with Italian mafia. Audible mythological. Mythological, then it would be hmm, genuine. Yeah, mushrooms send each other chemical signals underground. It's like this hive mind thing going on. I wonder what they're telling each other. Well, I know that other kinds of plants that have some kind of connectivity between them will inform authentic. I can't imagine what goes with that, like the alternate history. Cocaine is fancy, but heroin works better, to be honest. I guess it depends on what you want the drug to do. Uh, I don't like either of those drugs, but if I were going to take one of them, I would take cocaine. I don't always do drugs, but when I do, authentic, alt historic. I have no idea. A 5 syllable word for alternate history. That's gonna be tricky. You used the first word as I was typing the initial question. Hmm. Genuine? I don't remember that at all. That would be an SI test, but that's a tough one. Allotopia? Hmm. I am stumped. I do not know. I have no idea. Alton historic. Alex Hinault climbed a skyscraper live on Netflix last night. A real alternate history story. Um, I don't know. Thank you, Fly Guy. God bless your soul as well. You know, I saw something on Netflix that said something Free Solo just added. I wonder if that was the skyscraper. Actual, natural, actual, an actual contrafactual. Actual contrafactual. Bang. Bang, bang, ba bang, bang, ba bang, bang, bang. Right? Am I right? Oh, yeah. Are we experiencing the heavy snow in the U.S.? Well, they're getting snow right now in Denver. Um, you did solve half of it, Acacia. You did. That's a good one, David. It took the combined skills of me and Acacia to get it. This, the Shah, his world. Hello. Well, it's an alternate history story is basically a way of saying you're reporting something, describing something that's contrary to what the history of that thing shows. Or you know, I think it was totally an acceptable clue for that. I accept that as a reasonable clue. Well, it wasn't snowing at the beginning of the game, but now they're getting quite a bit of snow. New England, up by 3, has the ball. Flea flicker. Drake May throws the ball downfield, completed to the pass to number 13. Oh, he just knocked over that person in the red coat. I mean, I did not know that that was actually an old term meaning specifically alternate history stories, but it works even if it's not. Man in the High Castle by Philip K. Dick. A little bit of chippiness, some pushing and shoving going on. The weather may be cold in Denver, but the passion runs hot. So tonight at 10 p.m., I've got a typing session. Probably will try to take a little nap before then. Maybe after this football game on the stream, try to lay down for a little while.
I'm gonna follow you.
Sounds good. Dilip K. Fick. And my intent is still to yeah, it's gonna be published. It might even be a live stream. But she suggested that, and I could try to set that up. I guess I'll make the effort at least to give her that option. Eric, do you feel that music from the time of Rush will ever resurface again through younger musicians? If not, what is the future of music? Well, I do think that there will be younger musicians who are influenced by bands like Rush, but I don't think they'll make good music, and accordingly, it won't it won't rise to the top at all. You know. Chronodivergent. That's a good word. I like that term a lot, Lord Slim Key. I'm not late. I'm just chronodivergent. PKD, popularizer of amphetamine driven ideation. What's PKD? So still 10-7 as New England missed the free throw. The old dial up internet connection sound is trending. Is it?
That?
Yeah, I think that's what he's talking about.
I can't believe that's trending.
Well, oh, Philip K. Dick. Oh, he was an amphetamine user? I didn't know that. Rachel, can you do that again but louder?
uh.
Like,
Yeah.
so it's safe to say the best creations of music happened during our childhood, Eric, and as for what's coming, will have no soul. No, no, I have great faith that the music landscape will continue to just improve and that we're currently at like the best moment in history to be musically because we can have access to all the good stuff, both old and new. Rachel, what do you think about uh, this question? Is best creations of music happened during our childhood or for you, your childhood?
Best creations or the best discoveries?
What I'm saying is, does the future of music have no soul?
I hope not. I hope that there are artists out there who won't just default to AI.
Yeah. Interpol, Strokes, Queens of the Stone Age. I think the Strokes are probably fine. I'm not really sure what Interpol sounds like. I'm not really very familiar with Queens of the Stone Age either, but I don't think I like that band. 8-track was great, never had to rewind. Streaming from YouTube is great. That's way better than any previous medium of delivery of music. Streaming music from YouTube means I can listen to basically any song I can think of in the world. Plus, I can uh, discover new stuff by following along its recommendation trails. I think there's something he makes them feel need to make music. Yeah, making music is satisfying. Animals make music. I mean, is that really music per se that they're making? I think the music you hear as a child holds a special place for everyone because they hear it in their childhood. And yeah, it's great to be able to hear whatever you want when you want. I mean, it's true that certain stuff I heard in childhood, I have, I feel some kind of connection to. Um, but it's also true that only the good stuff I listened to when I was a kid stuck. animals can make a beat? Well, that's true, I guess. They do. No, you're right. They can make a beat. And they do. And, like, certain kinds of species of whatever crickets or what have you will all make their little sound in unison on at a steady BPM. I guess that qualifies. I recommend a brother or sister band called Lawrence. They make retro soul pop music, super catchy. Huh. Well, maybe I'll check it out.
Never heard.
All right, let's give it a listen. This thing here, I just picked one at random. That wasn't a song I was listening to. YouTube channel. Let's see. Which of their things is most popular? Popular. Don't lose sight. 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Ooh, you're asking a lot, Lawrence. Let me give it a little bit of a listen. Oh, oh, I don't like it so much already. I dislike it so much. Well, I have YouTube Premium, Dr. Red Taco, so I'm not worried about ads. Okay, whom would you go to their concert today, Eric? And who's worth getting out of your house to go and enjoy a concert? I'd go see Baby No Money or Johnny in a heartbeat. Um, those are both artists that I'd be excited to see. I've seen Johnny before, but I've never seen Baby No Money. That'd be a great show, I think. If it's not too large of a venue, anyway. He's so famous that he might play a big venue that's kind of makes it not that great to watch. I'm not sure. So if you're gonna go to a show at all, I think you really need to go to kind of a smallish venue. Would I go to a Madonna concert? No. No, I would not. I also would not go to a Rod Stewart concert, who is apparently, yes, still playing music live, even though he's in his 80s now. So, the thing is, I never liked Rod Stewart. I think Baby No Money's an ENFJ. Rachel got his album, listened to his new album, and was quite disappointed that discovered that all of the good songs on it he had released as singles, and every other song on it wasn't really good. What was the last concert I went to? Probably that Johnny concert, I guess. How did Barry Manilow strike me? Didn't he just mostly do covers? This guy's playing banjo for a wild fox, huh? Wow, what a cool video. Fox likes the banjo, I guess. What a cool video. What genres do I usually enjoy? Um, well, I like whatever's good, really broadly in the, I guess, rock, pop, rave music slash um, hip hop. I saw some bit of news about it, but I try to avoid looking into that stuff. It's depressing.
Oh my god. It's terrible.
I love Japanese polka, of course. Who doesn't? I do have like some Japanese music on the Chevy Tracks playlist. Things from things like that I heard at the as the closing song of an anime or something like that. One that goes Benny.
It's like the kind of vibes you need.
Another question. What scale would you put Carol Burnett on? 1 to 10 when she was very cute. I don't rate women like that. Deerhoof is 1/3 Japanese. They've got a pretty good song. They're not terrible, but they get a little willfully weird, which I'm not a big fan of per se.
Are they playing in New England?
No, in Denver.
Oh wow.
Do I love Riverside Swindle music? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
I mean, both things are straight up wrong. Car with a woman, that's terrible.
Paul Simon, 20 farewell tours. I wonder what the outcome will be as well. I think in general, there's a lot less broad public acceptance of totally unnecessary police violence than there used to be. But who knows? This has the additionally politically charged aspect of the immigration angle, so people are more likely than usual to. Well, I mean, they were likely with the cops too, but I don't know. It's all very horrible. I guess I don't have any more drink. Well, there are plenty of people occasionally in the world in America, who feel strongly about immigration and such. I may think that perspective misguided, but it's not an illegitimate perspective inherently to favor deporting people who are here illegally. I don't agree with it, but I think I'm not being cool, okay? There's nothing cool about smoking. As a legal immigrant myself, I think it's unfair to be rewarded for breaking the law. Well, failing to deport somebody is not the same as rewarding them. I can understand how somebody who immigrated here legally would be potentially resentful of those who entered the country illegally and didn't go through that process. And and that's a fair position to have, certainly. For those of us who are considering smoking cigarettes, what warnings would you give us? I wouldn't give you any warnings. I just said, if you haven't started smoking, don't start smoking. There's no good reason to do it. You know, it comes with obvious costs. Uh, Foremost, money, but secondarily, health costs potentially. You know. They are nice people. We should let them stay. Hispanics on construction sites are in fact racist towards white people, but and rude, but not all. Some are pleasant. I mean, it's easy to justify deporting illegal immigrants. You said legal immigrants. I don't think he's advocating deporting legal immigrants. These are Marlboro Reds. It is the case, I think, that in this move to deport people, that the Trump administration has deported some people who should not have been deported. But I don't think that that means that anybody's advocating that that should happen. It's chilly out there today. It's chilly like the Arctic.
Whoa. That's chilly.
Yeah, 54 degrees, according to the weather thing. The power behind the psychology that is the philosophy that comprises ice. Stephen Miller? No, I don't know who that is. reason why we shouldn't do the deportations is because nobody's, I mean, some people are, but largely the justification behind wanting to do this is purportedly utilitarian, is going to benefit the country in some way, but it's not going to benefit the country to deport people who are here illegally. And it will cause some harms. So the only good argument in favor of it is the fairness argument. Or some kind of like duty of the government to enforce laws. Well, I mean, the thing is, all kinds of different people in the country have all kinds of onerous perspectives. So I don't think that's a very good reason to have a position on it either way. Well, let's see what Eric says. He's in his 40s, I'm sure. I'm in my 50s. The Lone Ranger? I don't know who the Lone Ranger is. They don't respect the laws of how to enter the country. Would you not say they are more likely to disregard other laws too? No, I don't necessarily think that's the case. You know, fundamentally, people who are illegal immigrants, what they've done is move. And they've done so in ways that are not respecting immigration law or border sovereignty stuff. But that's a very different kind of thing than committing a crime against person or property. You know, the argument is kind of similar to, well, isn't it the case that if somebody breaks a traffic law, that they're more likely to be criminal in other ways? The answer is no, it's not the case. I get that that's not comparable in scale to immigration, but Casey Jones. Look, Mexicans are like every other group of people. They're all individuals first, okay? And it may be the case that you can find things that are common to certain demographics of immigrant populations, like they're more likely to eat tacos or something. But the idea that part of the Mexican culture is littering, I don't think so, really. I'll tell you what is a cultural thing for them, though, is piñatas. They love piñatas. I don't think immigrants really have any sort of legally protected rights. Leaves a lot of wiggle room for enforcers to commit all kinds of abuses. It's good these things are getting airtime. I agree with all of that. Pinatas, sombreros, 5 pesos each to ride my burros.
My PayPal did that thing again when it like said my balance was low and it put money in my account. I just sent it back.
Okay, don't send it back, Rachel.
Oh. But,
If it's doing that, you're probably overdrafted or something.
well, I'll find out, but
How much did it transfer to your account?
50.
Okay, well then you probably needed that money for something you bought. So let me send it back to you and just transfer it into your account, okay?
Sorry, I
That's all right. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, is hiding garbage in pee bottles and new construction walls still considered littering? Well, yes, that would be considered littering, but it's not. Your claim that that's indicative of Mexicans in general is ridiculous. You gotta blame the individual person who did that. Okay, well, Dr. Red Tucker says, Casey, they learned that from Americans. Hmm, I wonder if that's true. Oh, look, they got a leaf blower out to blow the snow off of the lines on the field so that they can see where the lines are.
wow.
Always surprises me when someone blows my mind like this. Yeah, well, it's the problem of trying to make determinations about groups of people. It is the case that um, immigrants comprise a distinct population of people, but uh, it's not much more informative about any individual person in that population than, say, race. I mean, I see it all the time in many forms, right? People want to understand reality through their intuition and not deal with individuals as individuals and not have to work with the complicated realities of a world that defies easy distinctions like that. Yes, Dr. Red Taco, Casey's family ancestors were immigrants, but you know what they weren't? Mexicans. See what I'm saying? ISTPs are often construction workers. One might blame ISTPs for being likely to leave their pee in a bottle hidden behind a wall. True. True, it could very well, if that were likely to occur. Oh, they made it. No, they missed it. Oh, horrible news for the Broncos. There have been so many missed field goals today.
Damn.
Casey Jones says, actually, they probably were Mexicans. Well, maybe we should go back in time and deport your relatives. I don't think you are any polar show media. It looks like New England's going to maybe win this game. It's not over yet, but hey, I think I'm going to start hiding pee inside of my walls too. Well, show media, what do you think's going to happen when you get somebody who doesn't know how to type you properly to type you? I'm an honorary Mexican. Thanks, Keisha. She's talking about me, Casey Jones, not you. They were between INFP and ISFP and confused. I mean, okay, you obviously don't know how to type people if you're having trouble distinguishing between ISFP and INFP because that's a very easy distinction to make. You just test the extroverted intuition. Well, the Broncos defense is still doing its job. They got a third down already and 39. I think it's a mistake to migrate to the USA to become a labor slave. Well, if it's better than the status quo, then it makes some sense. Whether or not it's advisable for them to come here illegally or not, it's going to make some impact sense for some person who will be able to achieve a better life here. For example, maybe in Mexico they live in some super cartel region where there's cartel violence all the time, and the only kind of future for your kid is to end up as you a soldier in a drug cartel army or something. Then it would make sense, right? Even if it's you're coming here legally and etc., then it still is going to be preferable for you in terms of impacts. Have I heard about? Have I seen the Jewish town on welfare in the U.S.? I haven't heard of it. No. Bye, and thanks for the parasocial time, Eric. Bye, David. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. I enjoyed your Inky Pinky. I don't know how I'm going to get through this weather. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Well, the Patriots kicking. Denver will get the ball back with plenty of time. 3 minutes left. But the real question is, can they successfully kick a field goal? They had one early in the game they could have easily kicked. They passed it up. And they've missed the the ensuing ones. Well, it's time for them to make their fans proud by mounting a late drive here in the fourth quarter and taking the lead or tying it up and potentially pushing it to overtime. Oh, backwards he goes. Well, the Broncos get nothing on that down. So bring up 2nd and 10. Do you still believe in Earth? Well, do I still believe in Earth? If you mean, do I still believe in humanity's path towards a better future? Uh, Jury's out. I think. I guess I would say I don't. I don't necessarily believe in that. Oh, Denver throws a terrible pick here
Oh.
late in the game. That should wrap it up for.
Damn, yeah. I mean, I didn't.
It's not necessarily the end of the game. The Broncos have I don't know how many timeouts plus the 2 minute warning. How do you confuse SE4 with SE7? Well, I mean, I don't think it's that difficult to confuse those two potentially because they're both areas of deficit. Fourth slot is a conscious area of deficit. So, in the past, when I understood functions less well or applied them to myself via metacognition less well, I would I would mistake my FI for some expression of SI sometimes. Like, what's wrong with me? I must just be tired, but I was actually like sad or something. So it's not inconceivable to make those kind of mistakes. But the thing is, we don't have a super good test for extroverted sensing. It's not reliable, particularly to determine what type somebody is. But Show Media passed the TE polar test, so he's actually definitely not INFJ. So he, you know, he's also not INTP or INFP. So Eric, remember when your mom and my mom were both moms? That's amazing. We have so much in common. I do remember that. Those were good times. I guess I'll watch the end of this football game before we wrap this up and see if the Broncos have some kind of last minute miracle in the works. Would I demonstrate good SI a lot of times? I mean, I find it very difficult to differentiate between 8th slot and 7th slot SI in any kind of testable way. So it's hard to, and it's going to be difficult for anybody who does have SI and 8, 7. They're going to have a hard time self-reporting about SI accurately. Well, if you don't think that your TE is bad, then why would you think you're an INFJ? Well, I can tell you here in the chat, I don't ever see you displaying SI. Like, you're essentially never referencing specific examples or your own personal experience when talking about things ever. But that's not necessarily determinant what somebody looks like in the chat. but still. All right. Well, we're gonna bring up third down for the Patriots. Well, it's kind of a boring game, but it's also the case that the Broncos still have a shot here with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I know a very high IQ INFJ who has pretty decent TE, I think. NI can be overpowered to boost other functions. Okay, well, that's wrong. That's just wrong. I've known plenty of TE polar people, and it's not the case that this person that you think, if you're correct about the person having decent TE, then you are not correct about them being an INFJ. Let's see what happens here. Are they going to get it? Oh, they did get it. Am I a little bit behind the times or something here? Is that why did you know they were going to get a first down, or did you just predict it? I was checking out that.
Okay. So this. Oh. I met her at a concert.
You heard a concert?
I met her at a concert, yeah. That's Jessica Williams. She used to be an anchor on The Daily Show.
Wow. And that expression, facial expression, is the one that you make at a concert?
How'd you know?
I'm just trying to get the gist of what you're saying.
No. I just had mentioned the story to you before, so I was.
Oh, you met her at a concert?
Yeah, I met her.
Okay. You met her at a concert.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I do recognize her from The Daily Show, actually. I'm behind. I mean, I'm not. I guess it's just, oh, look, the SE men's team beat Wisconsin. Looks like we're going to beat Wisconsin.
That's good.
2.1 seconds left. Team's happy. Take us to 15 and 5.
Use it though, right?
Yeah, we could use it. I don't think the women's team is going to even make the tournament.
Wow.
All right, well, congratulations, New England Patriots, on your football game win. And we'll see you in the Super Bowl, either against Seattle or the Los Angeles Rams. I don't think it's laughable to have trouble with SE 4th and SE 7th. Right, yeah, I don't think it's laughable either. Like I said, it's easy enough to I've discovered people have kind of a hard time self-reporting about procrastination, for example. And it's also the case that fourth slot is not going to see like, oh, I'm doing a great job of expertly sensing. Well, yes, it is very different, zombie, but the thing is, and yes, if you understand cognitive functions well enough and slot mechanics well enough, then you may have an easy enough time distinguishing between them. But that's assuming a lot of ifs, including the fact that you're good at using that kind of map to engage objectively with both your subjective data and your objective data. And it's like it's easy from once you understand in full the differences to note that one's conscious and one's not conscious, etc. potentially, but it's not the case that one ought to assume most people have that kind of understanding of things. When you told me the story about Rachel demonstrating a story from her past and then changing mind, was similar to what happened in my follow-up typing session with Isaiah. Right. Well, that wasn't just one example for me. That was just the straw that broke the camel's back, and ultimately, I don't even think that was a good determining factor for me to come to that conclusion. The conclusion was right, but it it was built of a number of different things in the intervening month, and what matters is that the TE polar test is determinate and can eliminate the possibility that you're an INFJ. Whereas the SI thing is not determinate, and in that case, you're sort of grasping for an a vaguer standard of evaluation when we can already eliminate that possibility. So you're doing it wrong, you know. But if my daily routine is the same every day, I get depressed and block it out intentionally. Can't demonstrate that. Well, I don't know what to make of that. Hi, Austin Norris.
He sounds like the song that Paul McCartney wrote called Just Another Day. It's like about a woman who just goes through the motions of the daily routine.
I mean, I can relate to getting depressed with a lack of change, like a lack of taking action on my part. But I don't think that an irritation with the same daily routine is indicative of strong SI. It would be quite the contrary, really. So, all right. Um, I guess I'm about ready to wrap this up and maybe go lie down for a bit. Maybe take a shower even. And then maybe get up in a while, watch some football, and then I got that typing session tonight. INTPs lack social dominance. Well, yeah, they're probably not super assertive socially with their fourth slot, FE and such. All right. I'll see you all later. Thanks for being here. Love you all. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.
Bye.